Over the years, I have been a huge fan of big car auctions, specifically when some really special cars show up and do some absolutely exorbitant numbers that, I might never be able to afford, but it's really fun to watch other people afford it. Well, today I'm here at Mecum Indy for what is going to be an incredible day of action with supercars, hypercars, old race cars, and something very, very special, which you might be able to see right there, a one-of-one GT40 Roadster, which we'll look at in a minute. All of that is going across the block today. Not sure how they're all gonna do, but I am very excited to find out. And yeah, I've never been to an auction where a multi-million-dollar car has sold, or even across the block. I've been to a couple Mecum auctions before in the past, and they were such a fun experience. So can't wait to share that all with you guys today. And well, let's go take a look at what's here. And we're just walking in. It's a Saturday morning at about 8 a.m. right as the gates open, and there is some very, very special stuff in here. And well, let's go take a look around, shall we? And starting off here with a bit of an assortment here of some supercars. Got 3 Ford GTs here. Very lovely. This one went yesterday. I love the green stripe on this. This particular car is a Mark II, modeled after one of the Ford GT40 prototypes, number 106. I remember this car going up on Bring a Trailer, and it also went up on BAT with this. This is a road car to match this, or it's the other way around, but they're both inspired by the same GT40. Absolutely love these specs. I mean, I love a good homage spec, especially when a GT40 is mentioned, and I'm a huge fan of white and blue. I think it's a great color combination, so it looks great on these two cars. Walking along, got an F8 green Dodge Demon 170. Super cool. Love these cars. 1,000 horsepower factory Challenger. Oh wait, this isn't a Demon 170. I am sorry, it's just a Hellcat, but still very, very cool car. It's got the low drag wing. Next to that, a Countach 25th anniversary edition, red tan. Bit of a Ferrari spec, but still pretty darn cool. Next to that, one of my all-time favorite American cars, Dodge Viper ACR Extreme. Just awesome. Just a blue-collar hero. Broke the record for manual cars on the Nürburgring. Only got beaten recently by the new Porsche GT3, the 992.2, but still super cool, and I would still take this over a GT3 any day of the week. Next to that, a red Ferrari 812 Competizione Rosso Corsa, carbon wheels. Love carbon wheels on these. Very expensive option, about $55,000 right there, but such a cool car and looks absolutely sinister. And next to that, another Hellcat. Love the lime green on this. Very nice color. Quick correction, I'm still waking up, but it's actually Rosso Scuderia, so a slightly lighter shade of red, one I much prefer over Corsa. I don't know why I didn't notice that before, but it's actually Rosso Scud. And we have officially found the really crazy stuff. Starting with this. This is a McLaren Solus GT. One of the Triple F collection cars that are going up for auction today. I'll probably include this car in the thumbnail, to be honest, because, I mean, it is just one of the most crazy cars out there. This is a customer track car, so not street legal. And the thing that's special about this is the power plant. Amongst all the other things, the fact that it's a one-seater, the fact that it doesn't have a door and the entire canopy just shifts forward. But I want to talk about the power plant because this has a 5.2-liter Judd V10. Now, 5.2-liter V10, you might know, not necessarily a McLaren engine. I mean, they're known for their V8s and recently starting to dabble in V6s as well with their Artura. We'll see a couple other V8 cars in a second, some pretty cool ones at that. But this is a wild departure from what they're usually used to, and a lot of people were questioning why. Like, why make the move to V10? And I know why, and I'm gonna tell you, because this car isn't just some V10 exercise to sound really cool and, sound really crazy on a track, even though it does, but it's also to serve as a test bed for their upcoming Le Mans hypercar program. McLaren announced a couple months ago in 2027 they're trying to return to Le Mans, not in the GT class, but in the top class to battle with likes of Ferrari, Porsche, Toyota, and all the other makes trying to get that really prestigious win. Ferrari's won the last couple of years, and McLaren wants in on that, especially because McLaren has a history at Le Mans with the McLaren F1. And this car is serving as that kind of test bed because they teased that they will be using this V10 in their upcoming race program. So super cool to kind of follow this car's journey and the upcoming journey of the Le Mans hypercar. And this particular car is also nuts, just full MSO all over the place. I mean, look at the orange here. A lot of flake in these stripes here, super cool. MSO logos, just a wild, wild spec, and I absolutely adore this car. I mean, the aero is next level, super cool. And next to it is this, the McLaren Speedtail, also from the Triple F collection. This particular car is chassis XP3. This is one of the prototypes, the pre-production prototypes, that was respec'd after testing, after the Speedtail got into production, and got all of the options in the world, including this 1K carbon. This isn't paint. This is a very, very fine carbon fiber weave. Only 3 Speedtails were opted with this carbon, and it looks absolutely insane. I think I teased in the past that this is my favorite Speedtail on the planet, and the Speedtail is one of my favorite McLarens too. I just love this car. I've seen it a couple of times in the past, never on the channel though, and I'm really glad I got to share this with you guys before it goes off to a new home potentially. It's also got the MSO roof scoop as well, but I love the Speedtail. Between the bodywork that kind of shifts as working as active aerodynamics, and it just has so much presence compared to other McLarens, but I don't think it has nearly as much presence as this, the McLaren Sabre. This is super cool. It's kind of the cooler Senna in a way. McLaren built 16 of these for US customers only, kind of as an apology present for making that not fully US legal. Speedtail is a show and display only car, whereas the Sabre, it's actually fully road homologated. You can drive this, you know, however long you want, not limited to 2,500 miles a year. This particular car, also Triple F, very crazy. All the MSO options in the world. I love this spec because I'm a huge blue guy. Blue's my favorite color. The royal blue and the lighter blue. Not the biggest fan of the wheels, I will admit. It's used to have a much darker shade of blue on the wheels, and then they sent it back to McLaren to get that changed. Love the interior though. Just huge blue guy, and the the Sabre, sorry, getting them all mixed up this morning, still early. Just, I've said this before about another Speedtail local to me in Chicago, the black carbon car. People coin the term Batmobile way too much with cars, but I think an argument can be made for this one. Just a wild, wild, wild car. And walking along, not a car from the Triple F collection, but I do want to highlight it because it is super cool. The AMG GT Black Series Project 1 Edition. Only could get this if you had a Project 1 on order. Many, though, have slipped away into private hands to dealerships, and they command, well, quite the premium over the normal GT Black Series, if such a car could be called normal. Hand-painted stars all over the car, so it's a true special edition, and I love the Petronas blue pinstriping on the wheels. Super nice detail. But yeah, walking along, got a V12 Vantage, very lovely, one of 333 units, and another Triple F car, the Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse. First time seeing this car, actually. It is one of the former Floyd Mayweather Veyrons. There are many former Floyd Mayweather Veyrons out there. No, Ed Bollion's got one, but I love the 1200 horsepower Veyron, one of my favorite cars of all time. In fact, the last time a Vitesse was on this channel was my first ever YouTube video 10 years ago. So kind of a full circle thing to, you know, feature. And I'm a huge Veyron guy. I think it is the greatest supercar of all time. I think even greater than the F1. I'm going to say that. That's a bit of a hot take. You can, you know, yell at me in the comments all you want. It brings me more engagement. But the Vitesse is so cool. Many, many improvements over the normal 16.4 Veyron, just beyond the 200 horsepower bump. Also a bunch of changes in the suspension, chassis, aerodynamics. It's a completely different car. Jason Camisa did a great video on the Super Sport, so the coupe version. The Vitesse is the roadster version. Highly recommend checking that out. Just goes into a lot of detail of, you know, why the 1200 horsepower car is a completely different car to the base Veyron. I feel disgusting even saying base Veyron, but I mean, the Vitesse is just such leagues and bounds ahead of the original car that, you know, it kind of warrants that in a way. Moving on, another Triple F car, a LaFerrari, one of my absolute favorites. Probably my favorite hypercar of the 2010s. I'm a huge Ferrari guy. I'm extremely biased. I don't care. V12, hybrid, easily the coolest out of the Holy Trinity, in my opinion, and I'm saying that having been in a 918 too. So I haven't been in a LaFerrari, I will admit. I've spent some time around them. I used to work at a dealership, so I know quite a bit about these cars, and it's just under this light looks absolutely stunning, and I think timeless too. Just adore, adore, adore these cars. Still has the Triple F sticker on it too, but absolute love here. And then moving on, a blue McLaren 12C Spider. Don't see many 12Cs anymore, and this one has 6,800 miles, so this is a very, very nice example too. Just love these. I think over time that these will become a very cool collector's item because it looks very different to any other McLaren. You know, after the P1 came out, they kind of modeled their entire range to look like a P1. This one looks a bit different. So I don't know, this has an interesting place in McLaren Automotive's history, being McLaren Automotive's first car on their own. I mean, yes, they did the F1, and yes, they helped with Mercedes on the SLR, but this was their first go at a supercar on their own, kind of, you know, gunning at the 458 as well. And, you know, if this car held its own, I still prefer a 458. Obviously, I'm a huge Ferrari guy, so, you know, I'm going to say that, but still super cool. And I mentioned full circle moments, and I want to mention this car because this McLaren Elva featured in my first King of Cars vlog over 2 years ago now. It was sitting in the showroom at Kearns with another green Elva, and yeah, it's cool to get to see that again. It kind of got passed around from dealership to dealership, ended up at the Triple F collection, but I just want to highlight this paintwork again. The MSO Pacific color scheme, my favorite McLaren color of all time, shifts in the light. It's blue in some, purple in others, and if it's like in direct sunlight, it's orange and green as well. It's a wild color, and I think my camera's actually picking it up all right, so that's pretty darn cool. But I adore this color, adore this car. It doesn't look too good from there, but just a cool color shift paint job. I remember first seeing this on a 675 LT Spider back about 8 or 9 years ago and just falling in love with the color. So, you know, love this color, love the Elva too. I think it's a super interesting car, but I want to move on to this. Highlighted this car on the channel. It's actually, no, I didn't because I never uploaded the video. This is a 1967 Corvette L88. So the story of the L88 is that it was essentially a very secret option that you would have to select by removing AC and going for a motor that was advertised at 430 horsepower rather than the 435 horsepower motor you could have gotten in 1967, 68, 69. Not a lot of people opted for that because they're like, well, it's a slower car. I want the biggest motor with the most power, you know, the 5 extra horsepower. Turns out though, this is the one with the most horsepower because these were reportedly dynoed at around 500 horsepower. Chevy underreported the power for whatever reason, and well, this kind of fell by the wayside, but it was a very special car, and you know, a select few people were able to purchase it either by accident or on purpose. You know, that remains to be seen, but there were 20 of these made for 1967, 80 for 68, and over 100 for 69. So, you know, they did end up gaining a little more popularity or notoriety as time continued, but still an extremely rare car. And I don't know how much this is going to go for today. I mean, it could be in excess of $3 million, which is absolutely wild. But also going up today is this. I mentioned this in the intro, and I'm going to mention it now. The Ford GT 109. It is a one-of-one GT40 Roadster prototype. There are a couple of GT40 Roadsters around. I saw a red one last year at Road America, if you remember that video. Got to see it on the street, which was wild, but this car is going up today, and this one raced in the 1966 24 Hour of Le Mans. Yeah, that Le Mans. The famed Le Mans when Ford took its first victory. It's 1-2-3 over Ferrari. This was part of that race. Admittedly, it wasn't up there with the likes of, you know, Ken Miles and Bruce McLaren, but it was still in that race. And I just cannot believe this car is here today, and in the open too, which is just wild to me. And it's just super special car. I've actually seen this before many years ago at Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and you know, that was actually the first GT40 I've ever seen. So quite possibly the most special GT40 on the planet, and of course that's the first one I've seen. Kind of tends to be a trend with me. The first Koenigsegg I ever saw was a 1-to-1, so you know, it just tends to happen. But I want to just talk about this bumper real quick, this front bumper. I might be crazy for this, but kind of see how it kind of strakes down and to the side and does the same on the other side, of course. kind of reminds me of the newest Ford GT. Obviously, they probably didn't style the brand new GT over a one-off prototype, but I'd like to think that this had a part in that. And some of the Mecum people are taking the top off, so now we get to see the interior of the Vitesse, and, well, very much matches the exterior. The black and the orange, kind of super sport WRE inspired, very cool spec, and yeah, that to me is just the coolest part about the car, having the open top experience, getting to hear the quad turbo W16. I can't imagine. I mean, I got to ride in the Chiron Super Sport last year. Can't imagine what that's like without a roof. So, you know, I think the Vitesse is probably my favorite Bugatti of all time. So, you know, I prefer the blue, like in my first ever YouTube video, but I mean, any Bugatti's a fun time, and Bugattis with orange interiors are fun too, as you could see right there. And the GT just started. Nothing beats the smell of a race car in the morning. Missed the startup, but did not miss the noise. Wow. So we ended up following the GT40 and came across several other treasures. So let's run through them, shall we? Starting off with this Porsche 718 RSK center seat. Never seen a 718 before, and I don't know too much about these. I know that it's like mid-engine, 4-cylinder, just crazy race car, and because it's a center seat, I would imagine that makes it even crazier. So super cool though. Like I've said before, I'm not the biggest Porsche guy in the world, but I do have an appreciation for old Porsches, and Porsches like these as well. Carrera RS 2.7 lightweight, just the absolute pinnacle of Porsche. And I actually know how much they're asking for these cars. They have them stickered up, so they're asking $3.5 million for the 718 and $1.2 for this. Now, these are cool and all, but if I'm gonna go for a classic from the late 60s, early 70s, I mean, come on. Lamborghini Miura, this particular car being an S, green, blue interior. Seen this car quite a few times before, if this is the car that I'm thinking, but what a legendary, legendary car these are. Just the first supercar, transversely mounted V12, just a wild, wild machine, fastest car in the world at the time. And this really set the stage for what the supercar world is as we know it today. It was all because of this car. And this is one of the most legendary cars of all time. I mean, it really established Lamborghini as a brand. It established what a supercar was, and you know, as a result, we get to enjoy the world that we have with the amazing cars that, you know, have graced us over the years. But next to that, a Ferrari 275 GTB4. Like I said before with the LaFerrari, I'm a big Ferrari guy, and this for me is one of the ultimate Ferraris in my, you know, dream Ferrari garage. The 275 is just one of the most gorgeous cars of all time. They're asking $3.2 million for this, and I think it's worth every penny. I mean, this one, Classic K certified. This has every single thing looked over. It is just an incredible car. And in Rosso Corsa, I mean, what's not to like? But in terms of classic Ferraris, there is one car that will top the 275, and I've never seen one before until today. This, the 365 GTS4, commonly known as the Daytona, from its victory at the 24 Hours of Daytona, and this particular car being a factory spider, one of 122 units being made. This is the Miami Vice car. Well, not this actual one, because that was just a Corvette with Ferrari looking body on it, but this is a real tried and true 365 GTS4 Daytona Spider in yellow, Jello Modena with the black interior. I mean, what a car. $3.2 million they're asking on this one. Once again, worth every penny. Also joined by a Hemi Cuda convertible. Oh, it's not a Hemi, it's a V-Code engine, which, I mean, makes it worth like a quarter of the price, which is just crazy that there's such a differential in price. Still asking $650,000 though. So, serial number 4, crazy, crazy Cuda. Love Cudas a lot, but that is the one I want to take home today. So we wanted to take a look at this Dino because I love white Ferraris, I love Dinos, and white over red is a great color combination. Then we walked up to it and read that this is the 1975 Cannonball Baker winner. This is the winner of the Cannonball run in 1975, back when the race was at its peak, when this race was unsanctioned. It was actually a race, it wasn't just a time trial. You know, this is an actual Cannonball winner. Now, I am a huge Cannonball fan, lover of the movie, and just lover of this whole piece of automotive culture and American automotive culture history that has been getting a lot more notoriety as time continues, and this is an incredibly special car. It's not going up here today, it's going up at Mecum, Monterey in a couple of months, but as somebody who's documented Cannonball stuff on this channel, like the Fraud Taurus, for instance, the current Cannonball record holder, the silver passenger car, and just a lover of anything Cannonball related, this is a holy grail car. And in 1975, this car did a time from the Red Ball Garage in New York to the Portofino Inn in LA, in Long Beach specifically, of 35 hours and 53 minutes at an average speed of 83 miles an hour back in the 1970s, which is absolutely insane. Like, to think to average 83 miles an hour in a Ferrari at that time, no mechanical issues whatsoever, no nothing, just cruising through from sea to shining sea. What a special thing. And this particular car also is completely unrestored. This is as it ran in that event, and original paint, original interior, original everything. This is, like I said, it's a holy grail. So we're about to do the Dodge, thrill ride, and there are two lines. There are lines for solo rides in the EV Charger, and there are lines for a ride in the Charger Hellcat. The line for the Charger Hellcat is a line, whereas the EV line is a lot shorter. It's pretty telling, is it?
But not too efficient.
All right, here we go. Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh.
Are you guys hiring?
Yeah.
Negative.
Oh my god. And we come back to the hypercar area because stuff is moving around now. The LaFerrari is on its way out, as is the Elva. Take a look at that color stream paintwork. And the Bugatti just started up too. Starting to get some movement here. These cars will go up for a little bit, but God, that Veyron looks so cool. And we're about to get some movement with the Solus. About to hear that 5-liter naturally aspirated V10. I cannot imagine what this thing is going to sound like. Turns out I have to keep imagining because, well, they're just pushing it. No V10 sound today. Quite the turning radius though. Just look at this car out in the sunlight. The blue and the orange are just unreal. I guess you could say I'm kind of filming rollers right now. And here come the last of the Triple F cars heading to staging, starting with the 12C, the genesis of McLaren Automotive. Looking absolutely gorgeous in that. I don't even know what blue it is. It looks like an Aurora blue, but just a great, great color. So we start with the genesis of McLaren Automotive to two of the most recent, craziest cars they've built. The Speedtail and the Sabre. Almost got the two mixed up there, just because word begins with S. But look at that 1K carbon in the sunlight. Absolutely glistening. And the Sabre too. Two cars just incredibly complimentary of each other.
$1,000 a bid goes.
All right, time to watch the GT40 go up. This is going to be something special.
Now offering S139 1965 Ford GT 109 competition prototype roadster. Serial number GT 109. The only Ford GT roadster to race at the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
I said that already.
5 GT roadsters built. One of only 2 surviving examples today.
Didn't tell you that though. So I guess we're all learning something right now. But this is gonna be nuts. Max, what's the over under here? 4. 4?
7 million.
Well, that's you out.
7 million to bid. 7 5. 7 million. 500,000 to bid. It's 7 5. 8 million. I have. I'm gonna be 8 million bid. 8 million. 8 million. I'm gonna be now wait, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. We're gonna close it at 750. We gotta be closer to $10 million above the car, but thank you.
No sale. But what a car.
Kind of felt that. Now offering S140, a 2023 Dodge Challenger SRT.
Let's hear it one last time.
500.
And off she goes. All right. Now it's LaFerrari time.
Won the start of the Dave Brecka collection, a 2021 McLaren Elva Roadster.
That's a funny way to say LaFerrari.
Oh, it's the LaFerrari.
Ah, there you go.
The end later. Now offering S150 from the Dave Brecka collection, a 2014 Ferrari LaFerrari. The odometer reads 4,391 miles, 6.3 liter hybrid.
Well driven for a Laf.
Got an F1 dual clutch.
Most of them have delivery miles, so credit to Triple F for keeping that car on the road and enjoying it. I know Whistling Diesel drove that car as well, so that's an interesting little footnote in the car's history, but let's see what it does. It's doing well. Yeah, a red coupe with some miles. It's at 3.5 now.
3,000,007.
Wow, 3.6. Loft market's still really strong. It's been kind of tapering off a little bit after the big COVID bubble. COVID really treated these cars well. Bumped them up by about $1 million, maybe north of that. Seems like they're getting stronger again. Who knows?
3,000,005, 3,000,006. Did you want in? Did you want to get 3,600,000? So 3,500,000.
Very strong number for the LaFerrari.
F150.
Great number.
Dave Brecka collection, the 2021.
And the hits will keep on coming because, well, now the Elva's up.
The light.
100,000 over there. Did you want in? Did you want to get 1,100,000 anywhere? Did you want to get 1,000,001? $1 million, the bid goes on.
No sale at 1.1.
$152.
Can't say I'm surprised. Elvas have been kind of softening really hard, and this particular car was at RM Sotheby's and didn't do too hot. And, it's just not the same amount of hype for the Elvas compared to P1 Sennas. I mean, it's just kind of what happens when you make a lot of Ultimate Series cars. So, great car, great color. Special car on the channel. Haven't seen it in my first ever vlog, and I do hope it ends up at a good home, or stays with the Triple F collection, because they're great custodians of these cars too. So regardless of where it goes, I'm sure I'll end up seeing it again at some point. But now it's bug time. Bugatti's doing strong numbers. 2-3 now. They just pulled the reserve, so this car is selling just like the LaFerrari. So let's see how far it goes.
2,000,004, 2,000,003, 2,000,004, 2,000,003 has been, 2,000,004 has been, 2,000,005, 2,000,004, 2,000,005, 2,400,000 has been, 2,000,005. Do you want it? Did you want to give 2,500,000? Did you want 2,000,004? Give 2,500,000.
What a car under the lights.
2,500,000. 2,004 has been. Give 2,500,000. 2,500,000. Sold 2,400,000.
Good number for the Vitesse too.
Yeah, let's make a little noise for that. Now offering us
Wow.
153.
That's a lot of car right there for the money.
GT. Number 6 of only 25 produced.
Time for the Solus. This is the first ever sale of the Solus. Not just public sale, but first ever sale. So this is a real honor to get to see. I can't imagine what this car is going to do, but I guess we're about to find out.
With air conditioning.
But we'll say goodbye to the Bugatti and say hello to what I am most intrigued by to see today, because nobody knows what this is going to go for. This is a true unknown. Let's see what this does.
2 million back, 2,600,000.
We're at 2.4 now.
Did you want to get 2,600,000, 600, 2 million back, 2,600,000, 2 million back. Did you want to get 2,600,000? I'm closing it for now, right at 2,500,000.
No sale at 2.5.
Now offering us 154.
Very interesting.
MP4 12C. Odometer reached 6,812 miles.
Definitely cool to see though under the lights, and this car is certainly something unique, and it has a very unique place on the marketplace because, I mean, there are so many track special hypercars, but to be a car that is essentially a test bed for McLaren racing programs to come, very interested to see what the future for these cars looks like. But no sale today at 2.5, so that seems to be what things look like today for the Solus GT. Very cool to see though. Very, very cool to see.
$122,500, Kurt Tilsell.
Now coming down the
McLaren
line,
did well. The 12C did well. I got to specify that it's a 12C because, well, now the Speedtail's up. Once again, very interested to see what this car does. The Speedtail market's really been softening ever since the car came out, really. But because it's an XP car and because it's got some really cool options like the 1K carbon and the MSO roof scoop, I don't know. Maybe that could help it out a little bit. We'll see. Now we're at 2.1.
200,000. Did you want to get 2,200,000? 2 million one is here. Get 2 million two. 2 million one. 2 million 200,000. Anybody? Did you want to get 2 million 200,000? Anybody want? Did you want to get 2 million 200,000? 2 million one. Get 2 million 200,000. Anybody else? For now, 2,100,000 owners in the bid.
No sale at 2.1.
I feel we'll get that one
Sounds
done.
about right.
Now offering us
Seems like there's some interest in the room for this one. So,
2,464
did they just say
miles.
Sabra?
Number 7 of only
I'm sorry.
15 produced by McLaren.
The Sabra's coming. So the Sabra is currently at 2.5. They're still trying to work on it. They aren't working on it anymore. 2.5, no sale. Definitely a more interesting prospect than the Speedtail, I think, because it is a much rarer car. And because it was only available to US customers, I'm sure there's some foreign bidders on this one, but it's not enough to get the deal done. But it's still, getting to see a Sabre in person is always cool. Getting to see the Triple F one is always cool too, because it is one that has been loved, enjoyed, and whether they get the deal done or they keep the car for longer, I know that it's going to be enjoyed because it's got some miles, nearly 2,500. So compared to the majority of the other Sabres, this might actually be the one that has the most miles. Well, I'm not quite sure, but that spec is just wild. And super cool to see the Triple F cars go up. They have their Bentayga up now, but I mean, it's a Bentayga. It's not a hypercar, so onwards. And nestled among these Corvettes is just one more car I want to show you guys. It's a car I saw earlier, but was walking elsewhere, so didn't get a chance to film it until now. But I want you guys to see this 2016 McLaren 675 LT Spider, full Golf livery, all painted by MSO. 675 LT, I make it no secret, is one of my absolute favorite McLarens. And I think of all of the McLarens I've seen today, Speedtail, Sabre, and Elva and Solus, I think I'd have this over all of them. The 675 LT is an absolute gem. It is the ultimate version of the 650S of the P11 platform. McLaren then went on to make the 688 HS, but that's an extremely rare car. This limited to 500 units, and this of course is the Spider version. I prefer the coupe, and I prefer a coupe even more with an MSO roof scoop, but the 675 LT, I think, is a definite future classic. It sits at a very interesting place in the market because you can have a 675 LT all day for about $250,000, and you know that's about the same as one of these, the 720S. So, you know, I put it to you guys: would you rather have a future classic or a 720? Which I'm not going to give the 720 crap. It is an absolutely incredible car, and having experienced 765 LTs in the past, the more track-focused or track-oriented version of this car, I can tell you that it's an amazing car. But the 675 does have my heart, a very special place in my heart, and you know, I think that might actually be my favorite McLaren of all time, alongside the P1. Let me know what you guys think. That's about it for today. It's a bit windy here in Indy, so well, mind the noise a little bit, but what a crazy auction this was, and I'm glad I could provide a longer episode too. I mean, just an incredible amount of cars, and getting to experience that Hellcat too was a tremendous amount of fun. But that's a lot of what Mecum has to offer. It's just a great experience, a great atmosphere as well. A bunch of stuff that I didn't film as well, just like the auctioneer messing with some of the bidders, but in like a really polite, jovial way, trying, you know, drive up the bids a little bit. It was just a fun atmosphere, and great place for families too. I mean, a lot of families were there, and you know, I've been watching Mecum since I was a little kid, so I've done it before, but it always feels the same. It's kind of cool and surreal to see something on TV. Also had a nice conversation with Chris Jacobs as well, if you know who he is. Very nice guy as well, presenter on the Mecum TV show. But yeah, incredible day here in Indianapolis, and I'm glad you guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I certainly did enjoy, so I'm glad about that. But thank you all so much for watching today, guys. If you like what you see here, remember to like and subscribe. And yes, it is now summertime, so I will be uploading more. But until next time, guys, this was me, Patrick, the King of Cars. Thank you for watching. Take care.
Hey everybody, King of Cars here. That thing. Hi Floyd. We're here with the King himself. They don't want me filming in here because they said I got warrants, but we got that pasta rocket right there. I like that though. What do you think? See this, I don't know why anyone would buy this because it's a convertible. It's got no rigidity. Look, there's no roof there.
That's the one with that's the 64 Mustang, right? That's got the inline 6, right?
I thought it was Mustang too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
No,
because that's a 64. Oh no, it's a 65. So do you think it's a Mustang GT? Is that a Mustang GT, Max? It could be a one of like 300,000.
EcoBoost convertible.